I just wanted to do this because personally I'm very interested in sports, and after talking with a few people in this class, they encouraged me to do this, so I decided to go for it. So why sports entertainment? Like I said earlier, personally, I love sports, and it's a very wide range of sports, both just here in the United States and globally. In addition to that, the sports industry is massive. Globally, it's starting to push $100 billion a year of revenue, which is absolutely massive. And actually, a statistic reported that over the past 15 years, the revenue of the sports industry has doubled. And also, it's applicable to almost nearly every demographic, with the variety of sports it has, both men's and women's, and also all the different types of sports. Just about anyone can find their niche and start to build a community in that. Also, as an aspiring business student, I can use the information that I found through my research here. If I go into sports marketing, for example, I can use this research to look into new markets or already find myself in established markets, whether it's here or across seas. And so I'm going to start with looking at football, particularly the NFL, and then I'm going to transition into soccer, looking at the Premier League and the MLS, which is here in the United States. So starting with the NFL, which is American football here in the United States, it's flagshipped by the NFL. There are 32 teams broken up to different divisions. At the end of the season, 12 of those teams make it into the playoffs, which is a tournament-style series of games to determine the winner of the league in the Super Bowl, which is coming up this weekend. So statistically, a Gallup poll, which was given in 2018, asking sports fans what their favorite sport is in the United States to watch, 34% said that football is currently their favorite sport to watch. It peaked around 2006 at around 46%, and it overtook baseball in 1963 as America's most popular sport and has retained that title for quite a few decades. However, it is beginning to slowly dip in popularity, and as a whole, it makes over $10 billion a year, starting to push $15 billion a year. Additionally, it is actually starting to make an impact across seas, specifically in the UK. In 2007, the NFL made a contract with Wembley Stadium in London, England, to host a single game of American football, as they call it there, since soccer is football there. They host a game every year. Ever since then, that game has been sold out nearly every single time, and Wembley holds around 90,000 fans. It gained so much popularity that they have expanded the contract into 3 games per year for our British fans of American football. Most recently, in 2018, massive soccer club Tottenham Hotspur, which is also based in London, finished their newly created multi-purpose stadium, and they signed a contract with the NFL to host American football games there for the next 10 years. And this was a massive step for Roger Goodell, who's the NFL commissioner, as he is constantly working to create a NFL London-based franchise to really start expanding the league into Europe, starting in England, and his hopes into the rest of the countries. So now let's take a look at soccer. We've been talking about football, which is our effect out into Europe. Let's talk about how Europe is affecting us in the sports industry. Particularly soccer, I would say, is the biggest name to know. Currently, in the United Kingdom, we have the Premier League, which is also known as the EPL. It consists of 20 teams, and instead of decided by playoffs, they just play 38 games, and if you win the game, you get 3 points. If you tie the game, you get 1 point, and at the end of the season, the last weekend of games, whoever has the most points wins the league. Currently, the English Premier League is the richest soccer league in the world. Last year, CNN Money reported that they made $6.4 billion, which is its most lucrative year to date. Among the other leagues of the Big Five in Europe, the English League is the number 1 most grossing, followed by La Liga in Spain, Bundesliga in Germany, Serie A in Italy, and Ligue 1 in France. These Big Five leagues, while they make less than the NFL, as a total they make around $25 to $30 billion a year in total revenue sales. So now let's talk about what's going on here in the United States regarding soccer. Contrary to how the NFL is operating, the Premier League or any of those other leagues that I've mentioned will have no hand in the creation of soccer clubs here in the United States. This is already being done by the MLS, also known as Major League Soccer, and they're starting to create soccer clubs all across the United States and also Canada. Currently, there are 23 teams, 20 in the United States and 3 in Canada. A Nielsen Insights report shows that over the past 8 years, interest has grown in soccer by 10% among Americans that are 18 or older. It started small, but is getting bigger and bigger rapidly, and a 24th team is planned to be added to the MLS in 2020 in Miami by superstar David Beckham, who is a very popular soccer star from England, and he's a really well-known name in the game. And Miami is a very good market for this, as it's a very big city, and over 500,000 people have already expressed interest in buying season tickets. So there's potential at both ends for both sports here. Football in the United Kingdom, they can begin to make a brand for themselves and start building smaller teams, and eventually maybe even create a league of their own for Europe. And then also here, we can build the MLS into a powerhouse and create a bigger market for soccer fans here, especially since America is such a diverse place. And we can really begin to bring the world sport into the world's most diverse place. Thank you.